Okay, guys, just to make clear from my video last week how bad of a situation we are in and how manipulated the data is, please conceptualize. All loans in the world, that's car loans, mortgage loans, credit card loans, everything is based on LIBOR, right? That is how serious LIBOR is. We've already stated it's $1 quadrillion. We've already stated it's bigger than all the other markets in the world. Now let me explain to you how it's going to get completely manipulated by the Fed. So we did LIBOR versus SOFR last time. Now I don't think a lot of people understood. SOFR is just for US dollars. There's now going to be other markets for the pound. It's going to be SONIA, for the euro, for the Japanese yen. Every single currency is going to have its own little rate managed by and manipulated by its central bank. Now, LIBOR was obviously lots of non-central banks, actual real banks, slightly minor manipulating certain rates together, but it was an international broad rate, covered every currency, covered every country. This one only covers specific rates completely managed by the Fed. Number two, we said the LIBOR is unsecured and SOFR is secured, so it sounds good. No. When you have an unsecured rate, everything has to be minus LIBOR, because obviously you're going to work with security. When you have a secured rate, everything has to be plus. And when you have a plus, you can do whatever you want. If it's a minus, how lower can you go? If LIBOR is 2%, there's no much more low. It's very low bandwidth to make money. SOFR, you can make loads of money, 0.5%, 1%, 2%, and that's why it's being accepted. Number three, LIBOR comes from multiple sources. As we know, collusion is very difficult to occur, and it has occurred, but it's very minor to do if you have a lot of sources. And as we said, SOFR is just the Fed, who's admitted they will manipulate the market. If you go and look at even the YouTube basic Fed SOFR explanation, they're admitting they're going to manipulate that rate. So we're going to have a SOFR rate which is completely manipulated in order, as we said, to bring it all the way down. Look what's happened. It was on 2%, to bring the interest rate all the way down to zero, so that governments don't have to pay, and so that the Fed doesn't have to pay on debt. Now, this manipulated joke interest rate that's going to be go forward goes on the shoulders of RPI versus CPI. RPI used to be the old inflation rate, retail price index, which included mortgages and rent. CPI got rid of that. It says inflation is only what the price of milk and TVs are. Oh, your mortgage has tripled because houses have gone up 4 times. We don't care. Oh, your rent, the main thing that you pay for, has gone up twice. Yeah, we don't care about that. That's not inflation. Oh, the stock market's gone up 300%. Yeah, we're not going to include that either. Just milk and TVs. And that doesn't budge. And that's what they've done. Completely manipulated inflation rate. Then you go government debt, even worse. Used to be sold to China, other countries, things like that. Now, the Fed is 33% of government debt is owned by the Fed. In Japan, it's actually insane. 43% of government debt is owned by its central bank. We can go to 99%. That's where we're going, right? It's an absolute fraud. Corporate debt, used to be sold to investors. Now the Fed has stepped in. As we know, they're buying Apple's debt. Why would Apple, a company worth the same $2 trillion, the same as the entire FTSE 100, need the Fed to buy their debt? Well, obviously something dodgy is going on there to inflate, to allow share buybacks. That's the whole point of buying corporate debt. You allow the share buyback fraud to inflate the stock prices to keep going, hence the stock price goes up. It's a complete fraud. I hope you understood that. Apple, we know sales have gone down for about 4 years. They actually don't reveal sales anymore in their financial statements because it's gone down so much. The government, the Fed, buys their debt. Okay, so I've sold debt and I get $1 billion free from the government. I then buy my own shares, which inflates the shares. So investors go, well, this share's only going to go up. So they keep buying the shares and it keeps going up. And it's a self-perpetuating cycle of insanity. That's what's happening. Stocks. So currently the Fed is actually illegal for them to buy stocks, but they've done it through corporate debt. But in Japan, we know 10% of all stocks are owned by the Japanese central bank. That will happen with the USA as well. And so we see the entire system, from all loans in the world, inflation, government debt, corporate debt, stocks, all manipulated totally by the central bank, that cannot allow any of these things to go wrong, because the Fed, for instance, is owned by its 12 regional banks: Deutsche Bank, HSBC, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. They all own the Fed. And obviously Deutsche Bank, we know, is completely bankrupt, but so the Fed cannot allow the derivatives market to go bankrupt, because if that falls, that's one of their owners falling. And so we get the whole fraud that keeps going, and the poor get poorer and the rich get richer.